And my kids can't believe it. They see me, and people at work. I no longer have to walk slightly bent over. I can walk straight up like a regular person, and it is just, it's fantastic, and it blows me away that it's a hard sell.
Rob, how did you find Carnivore?
I was watching TV one day, and I saw Dr. It was Dr. Berry, and I never wasn't familiar with Carnivore, and I just saw the clickbait was this lady's ate meat for only meat for 13 or 14 years, and you won't believe what it's done to her body. So I said, I got to see this, and boy, the story was remarkable. Oh boy, I'm drawing a blank on her name. She is.
I think that was the Kelly Hogan video, yeah?
Kelly Hogan, yeah. Yes, it was. And boy, she is something else. And but I watched that, and then it really got my attention, really. And then the next Dr. Berry video that I saw had Dr. Chafee on there, Dr. Anthony Chafee. And so I was sold right there. I was like, if even half of what these people are saying is true, I want some. And then not long after that, I saw one with Chris Palmer, that wrote, the author of Brain Energy, I believe it is. Yeah. And so I have to do this. I have to. And I just went from the sad diet. I just jumped in with both feet because I was really suffering with depression and chronic pain, and I jumped right in, but that's how I found it. I stumbled across a YouTube deal, and so I credit Dr. Berry with saving my life, and Dr. Anthony Chafee is my hero. That guy he is something else.
Oh. Yeah. So the depression you were suffering with and the chronic pain, that was the thing that made you open to trying something like Carnivore.
Oh yeah. I'm 62 right now, and I hurt my back when I was 29 years old, and I had 3 spinal fusions at the same spot, L5S1, and after numerous different surgeries and hardware removals and all this stuff, and I just been suffering ever since. My son was 3 months old when I got hurt, and my daughter was about 4, and my kids have never known me not to be extremely limited, and have pain. And over the years, things did okay for a while, but then they got worse and worse. And I was living on corticosteroid injections, and I had a parking placard so I could park in handicapped places, and just a total, just a mess. And then, the depression came from in September of 22. I lost my wife to cancer, and that just sent me into a very, very bad depression, and that I was just a mess, and so I had nowhere to go but up. And like I say, if only half of what people were saying about the carnivore lifestyle is true, I want some of it, and so that's why I was at a place I needed that. And I'll tell you what, in 3 days, I was 3 days in. I remember going to work, and I told one of my coworkers, I said, and I pointed to my head, and I said, I don't know what's going on up here, but I like it. And I could, in 3 days, you could see things are changing. And it's like the lights are coming back on, you know? And I was about 10 days in, and I realized when my foot hit the floor getting out of bed, it didn't hurt. And I had arthritis bad in my right foot, and my foot wasn't hurting. And then it's like, yeah, my back's not really bothering me either. And then next thing you know, I'm going along like I'm basically pain free. I'm like a regular person now. And then about within 14 days, I had to go off my blood pressure medicine. I left something out. I was on a slew of medications because in 2020, my wife got diagnosed with cancer. That was February of 2020. And then in March of 21, I had a heart attack. And so I have a stent, and my doctor had me on a slew of medications, and medications that I remember my mom taking, because she ended up with type 2 diabetes, and she had stroke, and she's on blood pressure medicines and all these things and statins. And when I started recognizing the names of these drugs, it's also, by this time I had seen right about this time the video with Chris Palmer. It's like, I am on these drugs. I am taking statins. I'm taking this garbage. And within 14 days, I was off my blood pressure medicine because my blood pressure was too low. And I had already quit the statins as soon as I saw the things that I was seeing. And, I saw a video with Dr. Philip Ovadia, a cardiac surgeon, and just numerous great videos I've seen, between Dr. Chafee and Dr. Barry. And so I was a mess. And like I say, within 14 days, now I'm off blood pressure medicines. I'm like pain free, and it's been nonstop ever since. I can work in the garage on my feet. I'm 12, 13 hours a day. I no problem. I'm like, it's like I tell people I don't have a bad back anymore. And my kids can't believe it. They see me, and people at work, I no longer have to walk slightly bent over. I can walk straight up like a regular person. And it's fantastic. And it blows me away that it's a hard sell to people. All you have to do is eat good food, a proper human diet. People act like, they always tell you, I couldn't do that. Oh no, that's too restrictive, and I need this, and I can't give up my this or that, whatever their thing is. And I don't know. I guess they're just not bad enough off, to realize I need to do something, and I don't find it restrictive at all. My life is far less restricted now than it was before I started Carnivore.
Yeah. What's restrictive is, struggling to walk. What's restrictive is suffering from debilitating depression. It's not whether or not you can have a packet of M&Ms,
Yes.
3 days in, you started to get this clarity. And sorry, you said 14 days in, like you could feel your pain was going away as well.
Yeah, between the 10 and 14 day range, it's like, wow, I'm pain free. And also my blood pressure, because I was checking it regularly, was just getting to the point it was too low. So I quit those meds. And my cardiologist isn't happy about it, but that's okay. And I got lucky and I found a doctor um, here in my town that is also a carnivore. And so, yeah, that is just, fantastic. And I seen him on a video, a YouTuber too. And I think they mentioned, Dr. Berry mentioned his name before, Dr. Nally. And he's here in Surprise. And he's been into keto and stuff for a long time. He wrote a book too. I think it's called The Keto Cure. And so, yeah, I got lucky and found a doctor, that supports what I'm doing, because my other primary care physician I had, he wasn't on board at all. And so, that's gonna be difficult if you're not doing anything your doctor's telling you, then there's no point in going to that doctor anymore.
Yeah, and sorry, I'm laughing when you talked about the cardiologist there, because I'm like, there's just, sorry, you don't have depression anymore. You're feeling much better. This is the best you've felt in years. But no, this is not good for you. Yeah. So regarding the doctor, like you were working with a primary care physician who is not down with this kind of way of eating. So how did you part ways? Did that PCP just say, sorry, can't work with you, or you just had to basically quit?
Yeah, I just decided to never go back, because he just swore up and down it's not sustainable. And I was on the wrong path. And but like you say, I mean, all the signs are that I'm doing good, and yeah, I'm not going back. I mean, I just I mean, what is the point of living 10 years in pain and depression if even I only made it 5, but I felt good the whole time, and was productive? So that's the way I look at it. But I'm not worried about that. My labs have been looking good, and I don't have my latest. I have a visit with the doctor in a couple weeks, and to go over my most recent labs. And I'm looking forward to that. I did look at them briefly in a portal, but I don't remember any of the stuff. I didn't have time to write anything down or print anything out or anything.
It's really good, though, that when you do go back to go over them, you're going to be going over them with a doctor that actually is willing to listen and kind of understands what you're doing.
Correct.
Yeah. Because I think that's the toughest thing for most people, is like, even if they think their doctor is, the most knowledgeable person they've ever met, when they go in there and the doctor's got zero empathy for what they've been going through and why they're trying to change the way they're eating and stuff, it's just like they're fixated on 1 or 2 numbers and that's it. It just makes you as the patient feel like a number, right?
Yeah, I would feel a little high and dry, a little isolated without having access to a doctor. And my heart goes out to people that don't have that. If every doctor that is not supporting that. But I think there's more of them out there now. Maybe not full carnivore, but keto supportive doctors, especially in regards to weight loss and stuff. And I had some weight loss. I had some weight to lose myself. I'm down. I lost about 60, 65 pounds. I run right now about 143, 145, and I was 205. And so I definitely had weight to lose, but And some people will say, well, yeah, your back's not hurting because you lost all that weight, but I didn't lose that weight in 10 days, you know, when the pain stopped. The weight loss was just a bonus, you know. I now wear the same size Levi's that I wore when I was 20, 21 years old.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I
That's
told
just
my
awesome.
daughter it only makes sense because it's not like over all those years my skeleton grew, you know. I just packed a bunch of crap onto my skeleton. And so now that all that's gone, I weigh what I'm supposed to weigh. And I do need to be doing some exercising, but I stay busy all the time, and I got kind of a high stress job. And, um, and so, when I come home from work at the end of the day, I'm kind of done upstairs as far as looking for something else to do, like exercise. But I it's on my horizon. I think it will help my labs even better when I'm doing that. When I am exercising. And but I'm strict. I don't use spices. Or I did over the holidays. I did see a video about an unsweetened eggnog. Dr. Weideman. I don't remember her first name. And she had a recipe on there, and so I did make that, and I used the spices that she said to use, and I didn't have any ill effects, but it was certainly kind of a boy. I tell you what, I could drink the whole thing in one shot, so I had to back off of that. It was too good. So it's like, yeah, that's a treat. Maybe around the holidays, and I'll leave it right there because it is very good. I've always had a sweet tooth, and 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 that's one of the things I tell people when you go this way of eating. I don't have the cravings anymore. They're just not there. Well, maybe beer. I like to have beer, but I keep it real occasional, and it's the light usually. But the cravings, they're just not there. I can walk through the grocery store and I see all this stuff. And one thing all you have to do is just look at the people in the store, just look at society, and you're just like, oh my gosh, you people, look what you're putting in your cart, and look at you. And I used to be one of them. I had to walk through the grocery store hunched over, leaning on the grocery cart. There's no way I could do that much walk all the way through the grocery store. No, I had to push the cart so I had something to lean on. But as far as the cravings, I think if you eat like is recommended, you eat only when you're hungry. You eat until it stops tasting good, and you get plenty of fat. You're eating very satiating food, and you eat until it stops tasting good. Um, there's no cravings. My body's not looking for anything. I gave it what it needs, and I generally eat once a day. My doctor would like me to eat more than once a day, just because he had told me that sometimes people have trouble keeping weight on, and I have been one of those people, and I was struggling to really say, but now I've settled in this sweet spot. Basically, 143, is the sweet spot for me, and I'm 5'10", and it gives it. It's good. I'll eat a little bit on the weekends. I'll generally have a morning breakfast, usually some leftover steak and eggs. I have like 5 egg yolks and one whole egg, and that'll be a nice breakfast to hold me over till dinner.
So can I ask, why do you kind of have one whole egg, but the other's just the yolks? Is it a taste thing, or is it an allergy thing? Or?
Well, just a taste thing, and I've heard that you don't want the too much protein. so to eat the egg yolks. So I try not to get too much protein, and I save the egg whites for my dog, and I have put him 50%. His afternoon meal, he is carnivore, is hamburger and egg whites. That's what he eats for dinner. I still haven't jumped in and had him go uh, all in. I still give him his kibble for breakfast in the morning. Um, but I will. I mean, if you could communicate with them and knew how they're feeling, it would be better. But I feel guilty because I can't communicate with him. But he loves it. I mean, he's doing really well, and so I'm really not worried about it. I think maybe it's also a convenience thing. It's easy for me to give him kibble in the morning instead of messing with that. Just because I get busy in the morning, getting ready to go to work.
What kind of dog is he?
A little French bulldog.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So you're reading once or twice a day, and you're feeling so much better. How do your kids feel about it?
Oh, I mean, well, they don't feel good enough to do it themselves. They have themselves convinced that they can't afford it, and I beg to differ. But my daughter's kids, they're teenagers, and so um, have a lifetime so far of eating all the junk. It'd be a hard sell. Um, but my son, he's got two little ones, and I really, really would like to see them um, do it. But and we have some my grandkids, and I've dealt with it too before it had a name, but ADHD and just I always had trouble in school um, with attention stuff, and so I think up here in my brain I feel better than I've ever felt. I mean, basically, I feel like I'm in my 30s, but mentally, I think I'm probably better off than I ever have been, which is, something. I'm even a little more outgoing than I ever was. I'm pretty introverted, but like doing this with you was something that I would never have done before. So, yeah, I would love to see the kids give it a go. I think it would really help them all with these struggles, just from the brain aspect of it. Um, and I think a lot of people, younger people, they're not in a place where they're suffering yet.
Mm,
Enough to want to try something like this, and I just think it's a shame that don't wait till you're suffering. Try it for 30 days and see for yourself. Test drive it and do 30 and then do 90 because you're going to like it in 30. So you might as well
yeah.
try 90, and then it's like, and
I, I think that's part of the issue, is it's easier for people our age to kind of find carnivore, stick to it, because effectively we're running away from something, right? We're like, we don't want that joint pain back, we don't want that depression back, we don't want that anxiety back. But then when you're in your 20s or early 30s, it's you're not suffering those things, you don't have anything to run away from yet, so it's a harder sell, I guess.
yes, exactly, and with all the misinformation out there, people are just scared, and you I mean, you people, it doesn't make sense to them. There's no portion
Mm, mm,
control. I mean, you can just eat fatty meat, but there's so much bad meat has really got a bad rap, and it's going to take time to get this turned around, and it's probably okay that it happens kind of slow, so the food chain can adjust as well at the same time.
I think that's it's a good point that you raise about meat has got a bad rap. One of the I get a lot of comments on my channel from people who are from the kind of more plant-based side of things, and they often their comments are like, "Oh, this is all a conspiracy paid for by big meat and all this kind of thing," and I'm like, I just think to myself, if the meat industry was really out there propagating all these kind of all these lies and all this propaganda, you think they would have been doing this over the last 20, 30, 40 years while they've been pummeled in the media for being, dangerous and the cause of heart attacks and all this kind of thing. Um, that always seems like a bit of projection to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people that are seeing these positive results, and I saw someone that mentioned it the other day. They've never seen uh, they've never seen someone come from a primarily meat-based diet or carnivore and and switch to being vegan, but you do see it the other way around, and they become healthy looking again, and they get life back, and I understand the plant uh, based, some of it's just because they don't want to be cruel to animals and all that, and I understand that, and none of us do. We all want the animals to be treated humanely as possible and raised properly. People get on that, and they probably do feel better early on because they've realized, hey, I got to cut out the crap, the ultra processed foods and the oils and the seed oils and stuff, and they start cutting that stuff out. They're going to feel better until time takes its toll, and I've dealt with kidney stones since I was 19, calcium oxalate kidney stones, and I could probably write a book about kidney stones. I've had so many different scenarios. I've had them where they've had to go in and get them. I've had them where they do the ultrasound blowing up with lithotripsy. Just brutal. They are no joke. And I did have 2 bouts of kidney stones. Early July, I had one. It sent me to the hospital. And late July, I had another one. And I haven't been consuming any oxalates. So my doctor believes that was led on by oxalate dumping. And because, he asked me, do you use even black pepper? And no, I don't use anything. And back then I hadn't even had my cheat with beer here and there, a couple beers here and there, but and not consuming any oxalates at all, and so it had to be from oxalate dumping, and my wife always tried to have us eat healthy. And I would tell her, these vegetables are not good for me. This is not good for me. And, we did the 14-day green smoothie cleanse. We did that a couple times, and that is brutal. That's torture. And my wife always had to try it. She always had us eating healthy, what we thought was healthy. I got books around the house that she'd get at the the grocery store next to the, when you're checking out, keto this and keto that. So we ate very little red meat. It was chicken and fish and salads, and we always tried to eat healthy, and and here I was suffering, and I ended up having a heart attack, and she got cancer and is no longer with us. And not not one doctor, while she was going through that, 2 years and 8 months we dealt with that, not one doctor mentioned avoid sugar like the plague. And now I've learned, seeing so much more about cancer. Dr. Thomas Seyfried, or Professor, um, uh, and others. Uh, it's a shame that that this is that this goes on, and I really believe that she might still be here with us if we would have known what I know now. I I'm sure you're familiar with Jeff DePosperis, going through his journey with cancer, and he's he's doing phenomenal, and that is awesome to see.
Yeah. It really is. It just all of this kind of stuff, when it makes you really cynical about, like, well, where's the line? What's the true? Where's the truth? And what's the, it's just convenient, or it's making us money this way. It's quite scary when you think you don't know what's good information and not, coming from the medical profession.
Yeah, I don't know where the line is, as far as evil intent, on the part of big food, big pharma. But I'll tell you, when cancer enters your world, you really see that's big business. Those clinics are standing room only, pretty much. I mean,
Wow.
that is big business, and I I don't know. I don't feel that big food and big pharma are looking out for us. They're looking out for their stockholders, and it is about money. And I won't go as far as to say that someone sat down and devised this evil plot, but I think medicine certainly got off on the wrong path, and they just keep it going, keep feeding that machine, and we're paying a price for it. And I mean, you can look at society and you can see what we're doing is not working. When you go back and look at crowd shots of people from back in the 50s and stuff, there's something wrong here. What we're doing is not working. We're eating less fat than ever, and staying away from red meat. We're jumping through all these hoops, and look where it's getting us. It is a disaster.
100%. And it's the frustrating part of that is that there are still so many people out there that are saying we need to eat more seed oils, we need to eat more plants, we need to eat more of this, nice food that's being produced by these food manufacturing companies, that's going to be healthy for you. It's like, hang on, let's compare the pictures. Let's look at 1950 compared to 2024. Let's look at a picture of people at the beach or something. It's, you're not telling me the right thing.
Well, yeah, and what heart attacks are more prevalent now than ever. I mean, people are there. More people are surviving them, but the incidents are on the rise. And diabetes, the same thing. All these things that our diet and all these recommendations are supposed to be helping. Um, uh, they're obviously not working, because all these things are on the rise. And one thing I've noticed about the carnivore doctors and researchers and supporters, they they have factual data that supports what they're saying, actual data, not just incomplete data. They have thorough information to support what they're talking about. And I recently saw a YouTube program. It had Dr. Anthony Chafee speaking with some vegans, and he comes prepared with knowledge and facts, and all these people do. There's so many of them. Chris Knoble. It talks about really good talks about the seed oils, and there's so many people coming from all these different avenues that have facts to back up what they're saying. It is something else. I think what you're doing is fantastic, and that's what needs to happen. Just keep beating the drum, and slowly but surely, people are finding this out, and I really think it's growing and spreading, and it's going to take time. There's a lot of years of bad information out there ingrained in people, and they just they find it hard to believe. I mean, really, when you look at all the ailments that the carnivore way of eating addresses, it is unbelievable. It's like, no way. It's too good to be true. And
imagine if you could design a pill that did all of this. Like pharmaceutical companies, I mean, would they come out with that pill because it kind of put an end to the rest of their business? But it'd make them a fortune for that one pill.
Oh yeah, it would, but I don't know. It could end up being a wash, like you say, because they would all the other drugs that they're peddling they wouldn't be moving them. Nobody would need them, so they would only have the one pill. And boy, if anybody figured out what was in it, that they would crash. But yeah.
So. Just to clarify something, I'm not sure I clarified before. For you, how long has it actually been in total that you've been carnivore now?
April 4th was my 1 year. So
wow,
today the 15th. So 1
happy
year
anniversary.
And, thank you.
Wow. So. I mean, more than a year in now, this is just the way forward for you?
Yeah, this is lifestyle. This is it. And I will admit that my transition was quite easy because I live alone now, so it's not like I had to make different food from my spouse or whatever, or try the sales pitch, but I know that I don't think it would have been hard because, like I say, my wife was always trying to have a son, eating healthy. I mean, yeah, sure, we still did things we shouldn't, pizza and that kind of stuff sometimes, but for the most part, it was always trying to eat healthy and, low salt. I was always a salt lover, and I kicked the habit, years ago because of blood pressure and this and that. And now, I use as much salt as I want, and my blood pressure is just dandy.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I'm pretty much the same. I just go crazy with the salt now. I'm like, oh no, a bit more. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if someone came to you for advice and said, how do I get started? What would you advise them to do to get started with carnivore and stick with it?
Well, I always mention that some say you should go keto, go super low carb, and work your way to it. Um, for me personally, no. And I tell them that. No, me, I on the other hand, I kind of recommend you just jump in with both feet, and then yeah, you're going to have maybe a couple weeks of adjusting or so to your body gets used to switching its fuel source, but you get through that, and it's on. I mean, I started feeling good before uh, before I was still having, I think about 2 weeks or so in the first weekend. I remember it was a weekend. I felt weak and not good. And so I took the weekend and I didn't do anything. I just took it easy around the house, and I got through it. And I think that was my body doing that adjustment. But by then I had already been seeing results. Like I said, 3 days in, I'm noticing the lights are coming back on in my world, and it wasn't. I was already warned about the keto flu, and so I was like, okay, this must be the keto flu. I'll get through this, and things are going to be even better. And boom, they were. And but I do tell people that they do. A lot of people recommend you go into it with a low carb and work to this. But I prefer the jump in with both feet approach, because I also see in chat rooms and on other YouTube question and answer things that come in, it seems like the people that struggle the most with going full carnivore or people who are kind of tiptoeing around it a little bit, just dipping their toes in the pool, and they're trying to recreate foods that they're familiar with from their previous way of eating, trying to make carnivore pizza or whatever, and I understand it. That's cool to get creative, but I think early on, just commit to, fatty red meat, water, salt, or beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, something like that. Beef, butter, bacon, and eggs gives you, it's easier to find something to eat, and it may be a little more appealing and to people a little bit more diversity. But I think jump in there with both feet, give it an honest effort to really see what this can bring to your world, and get the full impact, and then you'll know 30 days in, it's just like, wow, dude, this is something for me, and like I say, I did have lots of issues, and so it was a win-win on every front for me, and a lot of people may not be quite having that many issues yet, but I do see the people who tend to struggle the most are the ones who are just kind of tiptoeing around the edge, or they'll say that they're full carnivore, but then you get a little more into the conversation, and you see that they're really not. They're still drinking coffee, and they've got the fake sweeteners, and they're and well, just a little bit of this or a little bit of that, and it's like, no, you don't get it. It's give it an honest all-in effort, and to really make a fair judgment, to really see what it's about.
Yeah, nice advice. I agree. If you're going to, certainly when you're in the stage where you're testing it out to see if it's really going to help you, you need to give it that fair shake, right?
Yeah.
So, Rob, do you have any social media, YouTube, anything like that, if people want to reach out to you?
I do not. I don't have enough going on in my world, I don't think, to be entertaining as far as YouTube or anything, and so I really don't. I'm in a chat room, uh, Kilt's tribe, and I'm not even there like daily. Sometimes I'll just pop in. I don't always have something to add, and when I do, it can tend to be a little long-winded. But and so no, that's not really. Probably that chat room. Probably about the main place you'll find me.
No worries. So yeah, if people want to catch up with you, they should get into Keltz's tribe. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, Rob, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey with us. I really appreciate your time.
you bet. Good talking with you, Dave. And you keep up the good work, and I'll try to hold up my end over here.